Seems like you've become one of the more popular athletes in this city just in the last year. Um, how have you just balanced some of just the newfound fame, attention that you've been getting over since last season started, with staying ready, continuing to lock in, and having a big sophomore season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think whether I've become more popular in the city or whatever, I don't think that's changed who I am as a person. I'm still, continuing to work and, to try and be the best I can be at my job. And there's a lot of things I can get better at, coming off of last season, that I can, be ready for this season. And those are the things that I've been working on this off season. Just becoming stronger, faster, being more comfortable out on the field and working my techniques. So I don't think it's changed me as a person at all.
Cooper, Vic last year was saying how different nickel and corner are, and Q tried to play both at training camp. Can you play both, and what goes into preparing to play both?
Yeah, they're a little different. I did it a little bit in college, played both. But they're different. And on the inside, you got to prepare more to fit the run and be able to cover and do all those things. At corner, it's more worrying about covering a top guy, top receiver, with a lot of space. But I did a little bit in college. So I've been doing it a little bit early on here in OTA. So I think just doing wherever they need me to be, is what I'll do. Right now I've been trying outside and inside, but it's definitely a tall task. Yeah, no doubt.
What was Vic's message to you about the plan?
Just saying that they were going to try me a little bit at outside when we were in base. Nothing really too crazy. That's really all he said. That I would get some reps outside during OTA, see how it looked.
Are there any specific challenges
as you think about your career long term? You want that chance to play on the outside?
I mean, I'll play wherever, to be honest. Wherever they put me on the football field, I'll play there. As long as I'm out there, I'll be ready to play no matter the position, whether it's corner, nickel, or safety.
Are there any specific challenges when you go snap to snap playing the two positions?
You talking about like just moving, like each
Yeah.
snap moving in and out?
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit. I think outside it's a little different mentality than playing inside. Understanding leverage and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. But I'm still learning. It's early on. So we'll see what happens.
You say you're still the same person, but after the Super Bowl, how has your life changed around you?
It's been a little different. Just walking around. I try to hide as much as I can, but it's harder. It gets harder and harder. But it's still not going to change who I am as a person. Just, be myself. Treat people the same way. So I haven't changed, but things around me have changed a little bit. But I'm still the same person.
So to follow up on your answer about you'll play wherever, if you wind up being a nickel, predominantly nickel for your entire career, there's not part of you that inside the world wants you to play outside full time? I
mean, if I'm on the football field, that's really all that matters. And I love playing football. And if that's where I fit in the defense that I'm in best, and that's where I can make the best impact for our defense, and that's where I'll be. It's really up to the coaches and where they see my best fit within our defense, and if that's inside, then I'll be fine with that.
So guys who have won a championship here say there's no better city to win a championship than Philadelphia. You've been out and about doing charity work. Your football camps here, have a podcast now. So you've been out with the people. What is it like being a champion in this city?
Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody in the city loves Eagles football, and you can tell that, especially after you win a championship. But going into next season, they're gonna expect that same thing again. So you you got to find a way to push that behind you and get back to work and, you know, try and do it all over again the next season, because once that next season comes around and that first game hits, you know, then I don't think anybody's really going to be remembering, you know, what we did last season, that Super Bowl. There's going to be new critics, you know, for this next season after that first game. So you gotta prepare for that next season and put last season behind you.
It's early in the
As
process.
far as positions, as far as positions, there are the business sense to this, and the threshold for cornerbacks is much higher than nickel. How do you view that in terms of your future in the league?
I mean, I haven't really thought that far down the line, really. You know, I've just been trying to focus on, you know, getting better at the positions that they've put me in here. You know, starting with the nickel position, obviously where I predominantly played last year. Just trying to grow in that position and you know, continue to understand, you know, how that position works and be the best I can be there. You know, and now getting to play a little bit outside, trying to learn that position as well. You know, but as far as down the line goes, I haven't really thought a whole lot about that. You know, it's just been, you know, how I can, you know, impact this defense right now.
Do you sense that?
Place two.
Regarding the live stream event that you're able to appear at on Saturday, how are you approached to event? They came to my management team and asked me about it. You know, so I don't know. Well, that's how it approached me. Yeah.
Do you get a sense that with these outside reps that you are getting, that the coaches are evaluating you along with Keely and Adoree as an outside corner, even in nickel?
I think they'd assess anybody who's playing out there, you know, as at that position. You know, so I'm still trying to learn that position and, you know, play nickel as well. You know, but I'm still trying to grow, and, you know, luckily I got a guy like Quinyon Mitchell who played really well last year at that position, so I can learn from him too.
All right, thanks, guys. We actually have Quinyon next.
How does Cooper look as an outside corner?
I mean, Cooper, he a football player, you know. He did it in college. Yeah, just a great football player. Got a knack for the football. Just a football player.
Lot of change in your group as a whole with No Slay, Isaiah, Avante. What's sort of been like early in the process?
Yeah, it's been good. I feel like we got a group of selfless guys. You know, we've been helping each other out with the new guys who coming in, the young guys. But I feel like we got a strong group. You know, we got a strong bond, and we've just been connecting well.
You talked about how you look up to Slade now, stepping into the season without him. What's the lasting advice that he gave to you, and just going into this without him?
Yeah, I just think what he showed me was just connecting well with the guys. You know, just learning from each other. You know, so I just been picking off everybody else's brain in the group, helping everybody out, and we just been gelling together.
Are there any factors that might make it easier for a second-year player to continue to grow and develop as opposed to a rookie at this time?
I mean, I'm not sure. I know after the season, you know, I just watched the tape with my cornerbacks coach, Coach CP, and just looking at it, I just got a lot to grow. You know, I got a lot to work on. So it's just a race to get better each and every day.
This time last year, though, you're kind of transient, right? You might be living out of a hotel, and your people are swimming. Does just having that year under the belt make things slow down a bit easier?
I mean, yeah, I'll just say having experience, just being for a year. So just really trying to get better, honestly.
It seemed like you were fun at the parade. It's our first time talking to you since then. What memories do you have, any from that day? And as you kind of watch the videos, what comes to mind?
Man, I just had a good time. I mean, that's really all I gotta say.
How has your life changed since you won the Super Bowl, if at all?
I still feel like the same person. I don't really feel like it changed that much.
Any more demands on your time? Or anything?
You said what?
Any more demands on your time or requests to do different things?
Nah, I just been the same dude. Feel like I always been the same dude.
What kind of things do you kind of see yourself as needing to improve on? Like you said, when you were watching film during the off season, like what kind of things would you like to improve upon?
Yeah, just all aspects. You know, technique, ball skills. You know, tackling. You know, just stuff I feel like every football player needs to work on. So just getting better.
Is there any change moving from the right side to the left side? Saw you out there.
Oh no, I've been working both. I've been working on both sides, so just get my feet wet on both sides.
The process of kind of learning what you want to improve and how to watch tape at this level, how much did you hone in on that and how much did you learn about that last year?
Yeah, so I got great coaches who helped me, watch film, and then had good veterans last year who helped me learn how to watch film and stuff like that. So really just watching more and just honing in on small details.
You and Max and Hook, I think, were roommates at Toledo.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about him as a player, as a person?
Yeah, just a great guy. Great football player. Very smart, good tackler. He just got all the traits to be a good football player.
What have been your first impressions of Adore Jackson, and not only as a player but also as a veteran?
Yeah, my first impression been great. I feel like we have a great connection. I asked him a lot of questions. Same as I did the veterans last year. So he's just kind of been taking me under his wing, and we've just been piggybacking off of each other.
Is the thought of being a corner who one day travels with the opponent's best receiver something that interests you at all?
I mean, yeah, you see all the corners doing it, but I mean, right now, just one day at a time.
After losing a lot of guys on defense, winning the Super Bowl, you have a lot of new guys, young guys. Are the guys now asking you for advice after being here for a year and easing their way in?
Yeah, like I said earlier, like we all asking each other questions, but obviously, I got a year experience in the defense, so guys do ask me questions, but I also ask questions too. So it's a little bit of both.
Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb were kind of joking about Quinyon Mitchell and the matchup with you. In your second year, what's it mean to already have like some of the best receivers in the league talking about the challenge of going against you?
I mean, I don't know. I ain't see it. I really don't get into the internet and nothing like that. So.
What goes into being able to travel? I mean, you have techniques that you have to dig into, but you were reviewing some of that with CP. Like, how much is it to get to that point, and what is it to get there?
Yeah, like Coach said, it's just like we're on the mountain right now, so it's just getting better each and every day. Learning new stuff, getting better at my strengths and weaknesses. So I just say it's just getting better each and every day.
Where on the mountain?
At the bottom.
What's it like not having Slay in that room? Someone who's been a leader here for so long, can be vocal also.
Yeah, it was great having Slay. It's great having him, but it's the NFL, so things change. So I just feel like the group we got now, like I said, we gelling well together, and it's gonna be a good, fun group.
Anything else?
Dallas, just speaking of that, was there any point in this off season where you didn't think you would be back just because of the business of this league and how things seem to be trending?
Yeah, there was a little bit of uncertainty going into the off season. Talked with my agent, talked with Howie. Yeah, there was a time where I wasn't here for the beginning OTAs. We were trying to figure out what was going to happen, and we came to the agreement of the contract I'm on, and I'm super stoked to be back here. Got a lot of love for a lot of people in this building. Got a lot of love for Philadelphia, so super glad to be back. And we got high expectations, and want to help us get back to where we were last year.
What would you say led to kind of going back to the table and working on a negotiated deal?
Yeah, I would say, it starts with Howie and my agent. I let them talk about it, different things that went on, possibilities of trades, possibility of cuts, things like that. I kind of told my agent what I thought would be best for me, certain numbers that I wanted to have, things like that. And, I hired my agent for a reason. I trusted his opinion on stuff, but I kind of told him what I thought I wanted, and he worked that out and got it done.
What's it like when you kind of envisioned yourself with another team? You've been here 7 years. I mean, did you get to that point you're like, man, I can't imagine myself with? What was that like?
Yeah, there was a lot of emotions that went on through the off season. Not sure if you're going to be here, not sure if you're not. There was the sad emotions of leaving. There was the excited of a change, seeing something different. And, it just kind of went back and forth, and you tried to, just kind of balance those. So the off season, I've been 7 off seasons, and this is the first time I had to deal with it. So I'm pretty lucky, but it was an interesting feeling for sure. And like I said, I'm excited that we were able to get something done, and I can come back here and a place I'm really comfortable. A lot of people, like I said, that I got a lot of love for, and yeah, just glad to be back.
How much self-handling what you wanted? What did you want?
I've been very blessed to sign a good contract here. I feel like at some point I wouldn't want to play for less. You know what I mean? If I feel like I know my value. I feel like the Eagles know my value, and just finding something that I was okay with, a number that I felt excited. My time was worth it, or my whatever I can do on the field there's a threshold that I felt like I deserved, and like I said, we were able to get there.
How did you find yourself just internally dealing with it, reconciling everything that was going on at the time? Obviously, ego is involved and feelings are involved.
Yeah, I try to put my ego out the door. It's a business. I've seen people come and go. I've seen friends go through it. So you take all that into consideration. Talk with my family. Talked with people that were close to me, friends. Things like that. And you can always look at things that are more important. And I would just try to enjoy myself and trust in God's plan that whatever happened was the right steps that were meant for me.
So how much uncertainty? Were there any days that were more difficult than others, just as you're going through it?
Yeah, absolutely. There'd be times where the agent would call and he said that something's going to happen, and it starts to feel real that whatever it's going to be, whether it's here or somewhere else, is a true possibility, and you just wait for that call with your agent saying it's done, and sometimes he'd call you quick and it didn't happen, or sometimes it'd take all week. So like I said, it was there was definitely days that were filled with emotion. Just kind of sat on the couch and stared at the TV blankly, like what's going to happen. But I'm just super excited that something's in place, and my future, I can just keep looking forward.
Your situation this offseason seems similar to what Josh went through last year. Did you see those similarities, and that's something you looked at?
Yeah, not overly. I kind of saw situations, with different people. I don't really know too much actually about what happened with Sweat, so he did a good job keeping it under the radar, or I wasn't following it as closely. But I saw Avante went through it last year. I talked about his things that he decided, and it plays a lot. You talk to people on the team. I was still in touch with Jalen. How he was respectful to me the whole time, talking me through his thoughts and what he thought was best for the organization, the best for me, and it all worked out.
Was there just one offer in the conversation with the Eagles, or were there multiple that you had to sit down and talk about with your agent?
I pretty much let my agent handle it. He would tell me sometimes that we weren't close, and then he'd go back, and I don't know what agents all do, but I think they make like presentations and argue for their players, and I let him do that, and he must have done a good enough job to get me back.
At any point did you request a trade or request a release?
No, I never did, no.
Dallas, you're creeping up the list of all-time tight end numbers here in Philadelphia. Being on a one-year deal, do you still envision yourself like being here for the long haul, being a career Eagle, or is this kind of 1 year and we'll see what happens? I'm really excited about this year.
Obviously, I'd love to play my entire career in Philadelphia, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm excited to see what happens this year. Excited to put up a really good year, have a successful year with an incredible team, and let my agent handle his job and talks after the season. But like I said, I'm excited to be back, and we'll play this year and be the best player I can be, to be the best teammate I can be, and let the rest of it work itself out.
Now, these things get acrimonious a lot. They can get ugly. Seems like it was everything, like you said, it was respectful on both sides. How important was it that things never got to that point?
Yeah, for me, it was really important. Like I said, I got a lot of respect for everybody in this building. The way the coaches coach, the way just everything is great about it. And you look around the league at the way people handle situations. Sometimes it works out for them, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I love playing football, and that's all I want to do. So, you know, I'm not too egotistical where I care about being the highest paid or whatever. I just want something that I feel like is fair for me.
That number that you put out there, did that number reflect your desire to return here? Was there a higher number maybe to leave Philly, or was a number that reflected your desire to come back?
Yeah, I think it was more of a reflected a desire to come back. You know, obviously, when you're still under contract, you don't have a lot of control about what other teams can do. I wasn't a free agent. I was never cut, so everything was kind of writing on a wall. You never knew what was true until something happened, and but yeah, I'm happy with you know what happened, and I'm happy to be back.
Hey, thanks, Dallas.
Thanks, Dallas.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Good. Hey, Jalyx, seemed like last year, just as the season went on, you kept getting better, playing better and better. How did you take that momentum into the offseason, and how has your offseason been?
I think this offseason I just know a lot more of what is expected of me and what to expect from tackles and different players across the league. So I just know a lot more. So I've been able to approach my game in a more professional way by figuring out, you know, what moves I want to work on, who I should watch, what I should watch, being a lot more technical, because that's the biggest difference that I've seen is that players who are elite and good, their technicality levels are on completely different levels. So if I want to be great at this position and in this league, I got to be technical. So that's what I've really been focused on, and that's what I think has really changed between last year and this year.
Are you expecting to start this year?
I'm expecting to do what's expected of me. So whatever the team needs to be done, I'll do it.
How much do you feel at the edge rusher position specifically? I know you were kind of early in that transition.
Yeah, facts. I'm way more comfortable, man. Last year, it was all coming at you fast. You kind of just try to keep your head, play your rules. But now I feel as if, you know, I can understand the game a lot more. I can play within the player that I am and have a little bit more personality out there instead of being so cookie cutter. So I'm excited about that.
What's the hardest part of the position? I guess connected to that, like size-wise, are you where you want to be? Do you want to continue to get bigger at that position?
I want to keep getting better. So whatever weight Nando and our great strength staff has for me, you know, I'm comfortable with it. We put in a lot of work every day lifting, so I'm lifting big, trying to lift with the big boys, you know, the D linemen. So yeah, I think the power's gonna come along, especially with the technicality.
As a rookie that won the Super Bowl, what did you learn about the process to not only get there but to win it?
Say again?
As a rookie that won the Super Bowl,
Oh, yeah.
what did you learn about the process to get to that point and to win it?
I learned how to follow. Last year, you know, we had BG, the great BG, the legendary BG, Josh Sweat in the room, Huff, everybody, a whole bunch of vets. So I learned how to, you know, kind of stay in my place, or not even necessarily stay in my place, but to be able to look at somebody and ask for advice instead of trying to be so high-strung. You know, we have some great leaders in this building, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, Jalen, AJ. So you look to players like that, Saquon, you look to them because they step up in big moments. And, you know, when you got Jalen Hurts throwing crazy dimes to Devontae or AJ, anybody, Jahan, you know, I don't want to fall short in my job. So I just make sure I focus and I can keep up to the standard that they have for us.
How does that change with BG and Sweat not here now? Like, do you feel like you have to kind of step up into that void?
Not necessarily. I think with the group that we're having now, just the youth, just how excited we are to play, the speed, I think is going to be a lot different. I think we've got a lot of different rushers in my room this year. So it's a huge loss just knowing the amount of reps that they've gotten in the football that they've seen. So you can't bounce as many questions off because they're not in the building. But I'm super excited for what we got in the room this year.
You mentioned the technique aspect of it for you. How much did working against Lane and Jordan, you know, focus that in for you to know that you've got to be at the top sort of fundamentally? It
was huge. You know, when you are a rookie, learning a position and you're going against Lane Johnson and you don't even get like within 4 yards of the quarterback every rep, you got to figure something out. So just being able to watch back reps and then ask him. Lane Johnson's a huge guy of just, he'll tell you, hey, try this next time, do this, because I'm thinking this. Jordan's the same way, and I go back to what I said earlier. There's great leaders on the team, so just to be able to ask questions, it just bumps up everything and it tells you exactly what you need to focus on.
In terms of finding your style, you mentioned playing with your own style. What do you think that looks like, and where are you in figuring it out?
I think it looks like me getting to the quarterback, honestly. That's my job, and that's what I want to be able to do for my teammates and my team and this organization. So just figuring it out through training camp. That's what training camp's for, working on my moves, developing my bag, or OTAs, and then into training camp, just developing my bag and being able to work the fine details and go into the season with some good rushes.
Do you feel like, because a lot of coaches will say, or scouts, when they talk about pass rushers, they'll talk about, does he have a plan?
Mm-hmm.
What does he do to get to the quarterback? Where are you in that stage of developing a plan or having a bag? I mean, when did it start for you?
It started last year when I started learning that your bag and your plan is different depending on which side you're on, which tackle you're going against, the history you have with that tackle, the history they have with different moves. So right now, I'm just developing my bag, developing everything. But when it gets into the season, being able to sit down and watch a specific tackle, seeing what he gotten beat with, seeing what he doesn't get beaten on, how he plays, what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do, what rushers like to do against him, that all comes into play when it turns into your plan and what you got in your bag and what you want to utilize when you're going against them.
Do you feel that the expectations for you are greater this year than, coming in last year when everybody thought, well, he's a project, whatever? Do you feel like after the season you had that expectations are internally or a little more on your shoulders?
I have no clue, man. I just know as long as I reach my expectations, I'm going to be good wherever. I expect a lot from myself. I work real hard at what I do because I expect a lot from myself. So I'm going to just keep doing what I do, make sure I'm focusing on what I can control, and then hopefully it meets everything. Once it gets closer to the season, I'm sure my role on this team will become more defined, and I'll know exactly what's needed. But right now, just focused on getting better.
What kind of message did BG have for you as he retired and you're elevating up?
BG's always been the type of player to be comfortable in what you do. As you know, he's kind of had a up and down career. He didn't start out too hot, so that taught him that you need to be comfortable and confident in what you need to do. Being able to put your head down and work. So that's the same advice he gave to me. No matter what's up or down, last year set a hard bar winning the Super Bowl. So no matter the highs or the lows of your position or what you've been going through in your journey, make sure you keep your head down. Make sure you work. Make sure you continue to be yourself.
You mentioned the different guys in the edge room. What stood out to you about Ezekiel Jalyx and Josh Hunt so far?
Man, both great rushers. I mean, you've seen them play. They're here for a reason because just their explosiveness, their attention to detail, how much they love pass rush. That's what's super exciting. I know a lot of players, they look like they like pass rushing and they are very good at pass rushing, but you can sit down. We sit down in the room and just talk about pass rush. We'll be in the locker room talking about what moves to hit, why they like this move, what develops off this move, just because we love what we do. So that's the biggest thing I've taken from them. Explosive, love the game, ready to be here and ready to contribute.
All right, thanks, guys.